Hey, this is Leif Ganford. I played the cash register thief in The Amazing Spider-Man, and you're listening to the Everything Geek podcast.
Hey, this is Rich McDonald, and I play Commander David Mason on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And you're listening to Everything Geek podcast.
Hello, I'm Simon Fisherbecker. You probably know me better as Dorian Moldovar from Doctor Who, or the Fat Friar from Harry Potter. And this is Everything Geek Podcast.
Your attention, masters, mistresses. All systems functional for the Everything Geek Podcast.
Hey, it's James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Master Plo in Star Wars The Clone Wars, and you're listening to Everything Geek, the podcast.
Face it, Tiger. You just hit the jackpot with the Everything Geek podcast.
Hello everyone, you're listening to the Everything Geek podcast. I'm your host Ruari, and joining me is co-host Mairin.
Hello there.
And also joining us is very special guest Greg Cruz, who played Greg, aka Snoring Guy in The Walking Dead, a Peacekeeper in the Hunger Games movies, and a police officer in Need for Speed. So how are you, Greg?
I am well.
That's great, definitely. So yeah, we'll get right on to the questions. So my first question for you, Greg, is how did you decide you wanted to be an actor?
I've been one my entire life. When I was a kid, I was fascinated with drama, and I watched a lot of television. Pretty much watching too much television. But as I got older, it's just something I wanted to pursue. And when the movie industry moved to the state where I live in the U.S., I was more than fast. I had so many opportunities to get into it, and so I've been giving it a full run for the last 3 years, and I've worked in well over 60 major productions multiple times.
Nice, that's really cool. So my second question is, how did you get involved with The Walking Dead originally?
Well, Walking Dead is kind of like in Georgia, The Walking Dead is the biggest thing that's filmed. I mean, we have a lot of big projects, but it's kind of like a rite of entry, and for everybody here that's trying to break into the business, it's that one thing to add to that you get to say that you've done is work on The Walking Dead. So it's kind of a rite of passage, really, to be in the film industry in Georgia, and but the casting directors and everybody involved in that show were good friends of mine, and they had found a spot to get me in. And of course, Greg Nicotero, the executive producer, wanted my look on his show. He liked my look enough that he went ahead and booked me for it, and gave me this great character to work with.
Nice, that's really cool. Very interesting. My third question is, what was it like recording the scenes in the episode Infected when Patrick entered your room and started eating you? Was there any interesting or funny parts of doing that scene?
Well, it was very ticklish. That's what I tell people. Really ticklish.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Not used to having someone that close to me unless they buy me a drink or dinner first,
Yeah, definitely.
But no, it was very fascinating, and plus, there's like more than 200-300 people there, and I'm the only guy. I'm the only person there out of everybody there that gets to wear nothing but his underwear for 3 days. So it took a little getting used to that one, because all I was wearing was pretty much boxers and some prosthetics and a bathrobe, walking around talking to everybody. It was kind of fun. It was kind of surreal, really, especially once you start filming and all these people that you've watched. You've seen these characters and you're living it. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. That's very cool. So my fourth question is, I've heard you also appeared in the background of another The Walking Dead episode a couple of seasons ago. Can you talk about that character?
It wasn't really much. It was it was weird. I was booked as an extra to work on that, to work that scene. And I had made the long drive because where they film at's out in the country, out in a little bitty Georgia town called Sonoya, Georgia. And I lived about 70 miles north. And I made that long drive, and apparently they had me picked out for this role before I got there. And they had this big rush to get me through hair and makeup and wardrobe and all that good stuff and get ready, get prepared. And then, of course, they're not shooting my scene till the end of the night. So I'm sitting here pretty much tucked behind somebody's minivan all night waiting for my scene to come up, because we were out in the middle of the woods. We had this whole back 2-lane road locked down from one end to the other. And of course it's full of, production vehicles. You can tell major productions in town, because you got like 20 different tractor trailers and tents and you name it. It's just spread, the set. And of course everybody's cars and parking. It's nuts. It's a madhouse, really. But it was really interesting to work, just to get to know the crew and the cast. I had a chance to meet everybody. John Bernthal actually surprised me. I didn't realize how much of an animal lover he is. The guy who plays Shane. The whole time we were there, he had his dogs with him, and that was pretty fascinating.
It's very interesting. I didn't know that. That's very cool. Yeah.
He's into animal. Nice. He's all into animal rescue. So anything. He takes in these dogs and he trains them, and I'm like, wow, this guy. There's more to this guy than just. I never even heard of it. To be honest with you, I didn't even watch The Walking Dead. I didn't even really know anything about it. I just knew it was some zombie show.
Do you keep up with it now, though?
Of course, yeah, I do now. I'm kind of hooked into the show now. And of course, being this character that I have, trying to promote it, of course, it's I kind of want to keep, I want to keep up to date with what's going on with everybody else. And of course, a lot of my friends are parts. I have a lot of really good friends that work on that show too.
It's great. Yeah. My fifth and final question is, do you have any upcoming acting roles or other projects you'd like to talk about?
Well, right now we are working on the Hunger Games. We are filming. We've already done, the first Hunger Games was filmed in North Carolina, and we've got the second Hunger Games, Catching Fire, which was filmed last year here in Atlanta, and we've got 3 and 4 coming up, which is the Mockingjay book. They've split it in the middle, and they're taking 2 movies out of this book. And so I'm a Peacekeeper. I'm pretty much, I guess, kind of the bad guy in this. So, we're doing execution scenes, and we're doing a lot of mean. I think we're doing a lot of mean things, but it's a lot of fun. So, in fact, I'll be there for the next 3 days coming up. I've got 3 days I've got to go.
Nice. That's very cool. Yeah. So anyway, Greg, thank you very much for answering my questions, and I'll let my co-host Mairin ask some of hers.
Of course.
Okay, well, my first one's it's because as someone who wants to be an actor themselves, I'm always kind of wondering, what's life like in between acting jobs?
Being an actor is, you have to get dedicated. It's one of those things that you need to get all into it And you need to, a lot of people don't realize that you could go a month or two without work. I mean, one thing you got to do is learn either how to budget your money or make sure you have something set aside. I have a 13-year-old son. His name is Dakota. And one of the biggest things I've taught him growing up is you want to learn 2 fields in your life. You want to learn the field that you want to be in, the field that you want to be, and you also want to learn another field that will help you sustain while you're working your way into it. So, like for instance, I'm I've waited tables in restaurants. I do. I'm very technical. I work for Verizon Wireless on the side, doing installations for internet services. So it's just because you're not, and sometimes you're going to find yourself booking roles that don't really pay a lot, but it's always promoting you. Walking Dead was one of those. I didn't get paid a lot of money to work on The Walking Dead, but the results I'm getting from it and everything that's coming out of it is more than, it's worth more than any kind of money I could have been paid, Yeah. The experience alone was priceless. And that's, it's like any other job. You start at the bottom. I started out as a background as an extra, and I'm slowly getting these principal roles and these good roles. But, it's a matter of them seeing me want to do this, and everybody knows that I'm into this for good, and I want to stay there. So that's the biggest part of it, is just making sure that you can self-sustain while you're making it. Because trust me, you work hard enough and long enough, you'll get where you want to be.
That's always been something that's kind of more worried my parents more than me, but like I can see kind of. But anyway, my next question is: if you could work on any project or with any other person, who would it be, or what would the project be?
Oh my God! I've worked with some of the people I've wanted to work with my entire life. I've worked with Sean William Scott, the guy who plays Stifler. I've worked with him. I've met some of my heroes. I've worked with Morgan Freeman, Michael Douglas. I've worked with an actor that actually inspired me for other things. His name is Kenny Johnson from The Shield, from the show called The Shield. I don't know if you remember that from the early 2000s.
Probably wouldn't.
It was a cop drama. It was a really good cop show, but he got me inspired into bodybuilding, physical fitness, because overall that's what's been getting me the work now is my love for fitness. But who else? I've been wanting to get in the Transformers series because I'm a big fan of the Transformers. And there's a show that films out of Canada called Psych. Is another show that I've been really wanting to work on, but I don't know if I'll be able to. I don't know. I think they're working on their last season. So, but those are 2 projects right now that I'd really like to be involved in. As far as actors, I've worked in movies with I've worked in 2 movies with Will Ferrell, and I still have not worked with him. If that tells you anything. Same with John Goodman, another person I really want to work with, and I've worked in the same projects as him, but I've never worked with him. So,
yeah.
Robin Williams. Those are mine.
It's wow. So, well, I've actually am a bit of a fan of the Hunger Games. So I'm wondering, have you read the Hunger Games books, or how much did you know about it before going into the movies?
I did not know anything about it. Be honest with you, I don't read a lot. I should, but I just really don't. But I got booked as a peacekeeper on Catching Fire, and we actually went out that night and we rented the movie off of the Redbox, and I got to watch it. And it looks like a great series. I love Woody Harrelson. Jennifer Lawrence is amazing, and of course Liam Hutcherson. He's doing really good. And of course, who's the guy who plays Thor? What is his name? I'm terrible with names.
Oh, his brother Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah. Oh, it's Liam.
Yeah, his brother's in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Chris. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But yeah, I get that confused. I need to work on that better. I'm so forgetful.
Uh,
But yeah, I tell you, there's just so many projects. I'd love, also I'd love to be a part of them. I love these superhero movies like Thor, the
yeah,
Superman, Batman thing, this new Batman thing coming up with Superman and Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. I'd love to get a part of that. Just to say I've been a part of that.
same here. So what was it like getting to work on the Hunger Games? Was there kind of a lot of attention around the filming, or would you have people trying to get a look at what was going on, that kind of thing?
Oh my God, that was nuts. Paparazzi was everywhere. We had to wear. As a matter of fact, when we've been doing what they call second unit shots, which I don't know if you know a lot about how production works. You run your first unit shots. Your first unit's always going to be your principal actors, your dialogue, and all that. Your second unit stuff's always going to be stunts, crowd reactions, anything that doesn't really involve any dialogue or anything. It's just, like car crashes, like crashing the car, or when they do car jumps, or car chases, anything like that. Giant battle scenes. Those are all pretty much what they call second unit, because they don't really need the principals there. There's no dialogue being ran. It's just showing the action. So we've been doing a lot of second unit stuff, and there's still, even as isolated as we are, there's still so wary of the paparazzi and things getting leaked that we have to wear a special smock over our Peacekeeper costume so people don't recognize.
Oh my God.
When I worked on Catching Fire last year, there were people coming out of the woodworks just taking pictures. And you can actually Google them right now. They're all over Google right now, these pictures that they got of us, walking to and from set, or just out taking a break. I smoke cigarettes, and I'll step out and smoke a cigarette, and just do something to take my mind off everything, and I'll step out, and there's like 20 people with cameras waiting for me. And I'm not even a big star. I'm not even a star. I'm just pretty much,
Well, that's mad. Well, that's it really for my question. So I think, is there other people's gonna worry?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we're now opening the lines up if any of our listeners want to call in or leave questions in the chat. We do have some questions from our Facebook page. Meanwhile, one of our co-hosts, Dan, unfortunately couldn't make it, but he left some questions for you, Greg. His first question was, how much time did it take to put on the Walker makeup?
I sat in that chair for about 3 hours for the first look. It took 3 hours to get all that on me, the makeup and everything else. And then we went to set. We shot the scene where I'm getting bit in the throat, and Patrick comes in there, and they had me hooked up to a machine that spewed the blood everywhere and made the blood, and of course, all that, the stuff that you saw in the show. And then when that was done, I had to go back for a second look to go ahead, and it was kind of more of a cleanup to change everything around, and it took about another 2 hours to do that. So in total, I spent about a good 5 hours just alone in makeup and in FX. It takes a while.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and his second. You wanted to say something?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to go on to his second question.
Oh, please.
Okay. Yeah, his second question was, how would you describe the time you spent with the Walker makeup?
Awkward at first. Like I said, I was wearing nothing but boxers for 3 days. But it was a little uncomfortable because the solution they use for the blood, it gets very sticky when it dries. So I can't just sit anywhere. I have to be careful where I walk. And then while I'm in, certain points of the character, I'm wearing contact lenses and I can't see. So I have to have somebody escort me wherever I need to go. I actually had somebody, and that's all their job was to walk me to different places to, I drink a lot of coffee, to make sure I had coffee or water or something to drink. Make sure that I was taken care of because I couldn't move around freely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It is. We kept having to reshoot these scenes, and we couldn't, for some reason, something wasn't going right. So I'm laying on the ground and I'm sticking to the ground. It hurts. It actually physically hurt when I was getting up. Good thing to remember is if you ever have to wear a lot of prosthetics and fake blood, shaving is a really good piece of advice. Be sure to shave. I'm not even, not like I'm abundantly full of chest hair or anything, but still, it was sticking. Oh God, I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to work the show, and I love working the show, and I love being in that character, and I love everything I did on the show, but I just could not wait to get out of that fake blood.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And Dan's third question is, what was your feeling on the set?
As far as towards everybody else?
Yeah, I believe so. Or like the atmosphere, yeah.
The atmosphere, oh wow. I can't describe it. I really can't. I've never in my life experienced this. And I've worked on a lot of movie sets, and I've worked a lot of different types of jobs. I have, and as like I said in the interview earlier, I have nothing but positive things to say about my experience on The Walking Dead. Everybody there was amazing. And I was cutting up. I spent the day, I spent 2.5 days cutting up with Andrew Lincoln, Norman Reedus, Scott Wilson, all of them. I mean, we're just going back and forth. Everybody's trying to make you feel at home. Everybody wants, everybody's fighting for your attention, and you're talking to people that you've actually been wanting to talk to for long, you've seen on television. It was just a great experience, and everybody there is wonderful. Not only that, but some of the crew members there are good friends of mine from other jobs, so that helped out a lot too. So they kind of it was great. They learned a new respect for what I've been trying to do, and of course, it was just a great experience overall. There's nothing negative about it, except for that fake blood.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah. Note to self: never allow anyone to put fake blood on you.
Oh no, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Cheapy Halloween fake blood is just awful.
Yeah. So, Dan's fourth question is, if the action figure of your character is being made, what special feature would you like it to have?
I want the Kung Fu grip. That'd be cool. Remember that back when they had those G.I. Joe figures with the Kung Fu grip. I don't know. I don't know. I hope they don't go all cheesy on it, because the action figures never look like the person that they're supposed to represent,
I think the company that does The Walking Dead does a fairly good job of it. Some of the other companies definitely don't, but I know I like The Walking Dead figures, how they look.
Oh, they look great. McFarlane does a great job. I've got one of their. I'm a diehard fan of Alice Cooper. Which I've been trying to Twitter and Facebook his fan pages and everything just to see, because I know he saw me, and I've been watching him. He's been one of my favorite entertainers for 25, 30 years now, and just I know he saw me. He saw my role on TV, and I want his opinion on it. I don't, but I don't know the action figure. I don't know. They can make me look a little bit more muscular. Give me a little bit more detail. Maybe a little interchangeable. I can, where the guts can, you can press a little button and the guts will pop out. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah,
that would be awesome.
I would actually love, yeah, that would actually be one of the coolest features on a figure ever. I mean, I remember when I was watching the episodes. I mean, I'm a bit more used to The Walking Dead now. I think everyone kind of has that feeling when they first watch it. It's a bit scary and dark. Then the more you watch, the more you get used to it. And even that shocked me, that scene where he just stands up and his stomach/guts just fall out like that. just
Wonderful.
so extreme. Yeah. It was brilliant, though. I mean, it was just so unexpected.
Well, you know what that is. You know where that came from, don't you? You know the story behind that.
Tell me, I might have forgotten, but go on.
Oh, what it was, and Greg Nicotero explained it to me. He also explained it during the Talking Dead, and actually, I got about 3 phone calls that night from my friends that, of course, had to remind me because I don't watch horror movies. The Dawn of the Dead, the old George Romero movies, Dawn of the Dead, did a scene just like it, where the walker, the vampire, the biter, whatever you want to, or the zombie, biter, walker, whatever you want to call him, he comes in, he goes into the room, and he chews the guy's throat, and he starts eating on the guy or the person. And then when they get up, all the gut, that was actually inspired from a Dawn of the Dead scene. So what I did was actually a tribute to Dawn of the Dead.
It's very interesting. I actually wasn't aware of that. Yeah, it's really cool.
But I got phone calls that night from a lot of my friends saying, "Dude, that was Dawn of the Dead right there, man. That was wicked." Which, on a side note, George Romero was asked to direct 2 episodes of The Walking Dead, and he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, that I actually did hear. Yeah. 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 I remember reading an article about that and the way he referred to Walking Dead as a more casual kind of flick, and I was thinking, no, I'm not quite sure about that. But yeah, everyone has their own opinions.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, the funny thing is, though, I mean, you can change the phrase jaw dropping to mean stomach dropping in your character's case quite literally, because his stomach does completely drop.
Yeah, that was wicked.
Yeah, definitely really cool. I'm gonna
start using that for my 6-minute ad posting. To be like 6-minute ad. There you go. You work out
stomach
yeah. This is. I thought about this too. You ever watch? Who Phineas and Ferb is, right?
I've heard of it. I haven't actually watched it though. It's on the agenda.
Okay. The guy who does the voices for Phineas and Ferb is Victor Martell. And he is the guy who played Patrick, who, of course...
Yeah, I know that.
Right. So, yeah, that's just weird getting over that. This is the same guy who voices all these kid shows. And I'm in the bathroom the other day getting ready to go to work, and my kid has my son has this mouthwash, and it's Phineas and Ferb on it. And like, how ironic is that?
That's actually really cool. Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I had to post that on Facebook. I'm like, wow. Phineas and Ferb mouthwash.
It's a little bit like the girl who voices Lilo is the same girl who plays Samara in The Ring. I still can't get over that.
Right. Too funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and anyway, Dan's final question is, if you had to create a backstory of your character, what would it be?
Oh, I had that one set up a long time ago. I took this character because the first 3 days I was pretty much treated as an extra. I was with the extras and of course all the background walkers on the extras end of the, because I didn't have any dialogue. I was pretty much just doing what we call crosses, and so I wanted to look like, I was trying to pull my weight around the prison. So every shot that they cut this, but every shot that I was in, I was either carrying something or I was fixing something. I was carrying firewood up to where they eat at, and I was fixing the bus. And so I figured my character was an ex-mechanic or an ex-handyman. And of course he gets to the prison and that's all he does is he's working constantly. He's working on stuff, and he's fixing the bus in case they have to use it, or he's over there doing inventorying and seeing how much ammunition, because it was part of the day where I was counting like bullets and looking at the guns and making sure that the guns and everything were oiled, and the bullets, and we had plenty of bullets, and checking out, making sure the knives, all the knives were sharp. I even had my own little work table set up off back to the side where they parked the cars at. So they kind of had my character was kind of developed for me. So he was just kind of a handyman, got caught up in the apocalypse in Woodbury, and made his way to the prison.
Yeah,
It's clever.
Yeah,
I think that's really
yeah. And I also think I heard that he came from Woodbury as well. The town the governor had run in season 3 before, the prison guys like Rick and Daryl brought them all to the prison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Yeah.
See, I don't think I was part of that group. I don't think I was part of that group.
Wait, I actually thought I saw that in an interview. Interesting.
Yeah. I think I just kind of straggled in. I think I probably stole a car or something. Straggled in there.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool. So anyway, Greg, thank you very much for answering all of our questions. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast.
It's been fun, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and hopefully we can talk to you again sometime.
Anytime y'all want, just let me know. I'm usually up, so.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Make sure to check out our podcast links. Check out our website, website.everythinggeekpodcast.com/EGP. Check out our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/everythinggeekpodcast. Check out our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/user/everythinggeekcast. Check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/everythinggeekp. Check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/official-everythinggeekpodcast. Check out our Mixcloud profile, www.mixcloud.com/everythinggeekpodcast. Email us at the below email, everythinggeekpodcast@gmail.com. Check out our companion podcast, Everything Geek Comiccast, www.facebook.com/everythinggeekcomiccast. Make sure to check out the hosts' YouTube channels. Mine is www.youtube.com/user/Separatist Mairin's is www.youtube.com/user/Lizzie11. Check out Greg Cruz's Facebook page, www.facebook.com/pages/Snoring Guy, and check out Channel 138 we broadcast live from, www.channel138.com. So geeks out everyone.